Welcome to season 2 of Love, Life, and Relationships. Season 2 is definitely a little different than season 1. When I had season 2 in mind, I had a couple of different thoughts. My first thought was season 1 focused on the difference between men and women in relationships. We didn't have any couples on. It focused on what each person wanted from the relationship, what each group was not getting from the other. So on season 2, I thought a little differently. I'm like, what am I going to bring to season 2 that season 1 didn't have? So the first thing I thought was everybody's on a journey. Life is a journey. Everybody's journey is different. Your journey is not the same as mine. My journey is not the same as yours. And although we may learn the same lesson in different forms and fashions, our journey is still not the same. It is basically customized. Our journeys are customized to us as an individual person, us as who we are, who we wish to be in life, in love, and in partnerships as we have our human experience. So at first I was thinking, okay, I'm different now than what I was when I first started this. I started season 1 based off of I was always running into people and people just loved talking to me. And it was something that I do on a daily basis anyway. So I'm like, okay, I'm touching a single person, a single individual. Why not expand and touch more people? Some of us are having similar experiences just in our own lives. I juggled a couple thoughts back and forth in my head. The first one was like, okay, I'm in a selfish phase right now. It's about me. This is my journey. This is about me discovering who I am as a person. It's about me discovering what I like. I've had several different relationships, and so I had to break me down, analyze myself, and just find the core of me. Who am I? And when I started to do that, it started to change my perspective in so many different ways. I started to understand why certain relationships turned out the way that they did and why it took so long for some of them to end. And I realized that I stick around in places way too long. I'm the type of person, I'm very loyal. I'm very loyal to a fault. And that's one of the things that I juggled back and forth in my head because I wanted to name season 2 Loyal to Myself. That was my first thought because I'm saying I've been loyal to these people so much to where it damaged me or where it led me down a road of not getting the things that I wanted at the time or just not getting the responses that I wanted back from people. Me giving too much and people taking too much. So I started to think like, okay, why did I allow that? And I'm a very nice person. But nice people don't have to take what other people are giving out just because we're nice. You can be nice and say, I'm not dealing with that. We can be nice and say, I'm not putting up with your shit. I'm done. Okay, so after I went through that thought process, then I went through another process like, okay, season 1 was about the individual person. Like, we talked to different people, and each one of those people, none of them were in a relationship or a happy, healthy, successful relationship because a few of them were actually in relationships. They just weren't happy in them. I tried on season 2 to bring understanding of the sexes. Like, what is it that the females aren't doing that the males want, and what is it that the males are doing that the females don't want, or what is it that each sex want from the other? Then I thought, season 2, I'm going to just talk to couples that are in good relationships, couples that are in bad relationships, but I wanted it to be couples. The funny thing about that was, on my first thought, when I said, okay, season 2, I'm going to bring couples. Season 1, they were individuals. Season 2 is 2. Let's bring a couple. Okay, so I had to laugh to myself because I'm saying I don't really know any couples. And then it dawned on me like, well, damn, that's kind of messed up because out of all the people that I know and the people that know me, I don't know any couples that I wanted to, I just thought I didn't know any couples. I'm going to just say that for real. And then after I thought about it, like, yes, I do. My dad he has a wife. My dad has always had a wife. Like, whether it was my mother or one of my stepmoms, my dad has always been in a relationship. He's always had a wife. So I did see healthy relationships growing up as a child. I also saw some pretty unhealthy relationships because, a lot of these relationships are not the quintessential perfect love situation. Every relationship has some type of something that one of the other people don't like. So no situation is perfect. But how do you get through it? Are you willing to work with a person? Do you communicate properly? Okay, so then I happen to think, okay, I have an uncle that's married. And the list wasn't that long. And that kind of made me sad because I'm the type of person, I love relationships. I want to be married. I'm designed to be married. I'm not designed to be running the streets, and that's not what I am. So then that started to, like, cause some type of weird thought pattern and process. And then the next thought I came up with was foolish. Maybe I should call season 2 foolish, because it almost seems like every relationship that I have been in, it leaves me feeling foolish. Like, why did I stick with that person for so long? It's like trying to make something work that you already know where it's going. So, my first marriage, I was young. So, I was kind of learning what life was. And even the way that took place wasn't the normal, natural way that it happens. It was like a setup, I think. And don't get me wrong, because we co-parented very well together. But at the end of the day, the way that happened was not the way a marriage normally takes place. My second marriage also was the same exact way. Like, again, why did you stick around for so long? Because it was like I was with this person for so long, and none of these people are bad people, so don't get me wrong. And I know they're going to be listening to this show, so shout out to y'all. Don't get your panties in a bunch. And I would like to have y'all on the show if you would like to come, each one of y'all, and we could talk about the relationship that I had. Well, not the last one. You can't, nothing. Okay, so my children's fathers, I would love to have them on the show if they would come. That would be a great conversation for somebody, us, I guess. Because the first one, like I said, we co-parented very well. The second one, I kind of feel a little slighted in that situation because even now, like, I just called to have a conversation with him because I don't appreciate how my kids were treated in that situation. And I don't know what his statement is. He may have his own reasoning for whatever situations happened or transpired. I don't really care, honestly, because of the fact that I just feel like my kids were not given a fair shot regardless of the fact. And then it was almost like, because I chose to take my kids and leave to have a better life, that's what he holds on to. Like, you took the kids and left, so that's what caused him to be a bad father. Okay. I'm not buying that shit, but that's neither here nor there. One thing that I never did, and I try not to do, is talk bad about the father. But some things are just, they just are what they are. Because at the end of the day, that person has always had access to be able to come around my kids. They've always had access to be able to take the children, if they wanted to. And it was almost like it just didn't happen. And even now, at some point in time, we're about to have a conversation, because it's almost like that person thinks that they're justified. My kids didn't ask to be here. And honestly, the last one definitely didn't ask to be here. And even the way that one happened, it was like more of a him type of thing, because I love my son, but it was almost like I got stuck with the child, and I raised the child by myself, and a person was able to pay $200 worth of child support, and then they acted as if that was all they could do. And honestly, like, I know people will say, we don't know, what the dad had. I don't care. Like, honestly, that's a thing that I don't care about, because of the fact that I couldn't say that. I couldn't just run away, or when stuff was happening in my life, not do for my kids. I wasn't allowed to be that. I'm mom, so I had to be everything. So that all of these relationships, to make a long story short, leads me feeling foolish. Even the last one, the person that I wanted to be with, that I thought was like my dream person, at the end of the day, that person was only after money. That person lied. That person's still lying to this day. I haven't even said a word, but this person still to this day is lying, filed false documentation in court. I'm not even arguing. Like, honestly, I have not argued at all, period. I'm not even arguing with this person. Like, once this whole thing is done, honestly, I feel like that's going to be something I'm going to be talking about too. The information is going to be put there. The blog is going to be done. The paperwork is going to be posted. And that closes that situation out, because at the end of the day, like, whatever happens, God allowed it to happen. It's not something that I don't want to fight. I don't want to argue. I don't want to, and I don't feel like I should have to defend myself to a person that I thought loved me from the time that I was 17 years old. Like, that situation, and like I said, and I keep saying, there's nothing that's not going to convince me that that person tried to harm me in a way that would have taken my life. There's nothing going to convince me of anything less. So with that being said, and the person even before them, it was like, I went out of my way. I'm always going out of my way for these people, and it leaves me feeling foolish. So, okay, but because I am who I am, there's always a silver lining in this situation. So, I chose to, what was the silver lining? What did I learn? I got some beautiful kids out of these situations. In some cases, I'm still cool with the, people. But honestly, even at this point, I don't care who I'm cool with. Like, the next phase was, because once I got past that, and then I'm like, okay, so the next thing is friends, family, even those things, like sticking around these people entirely too long. And just because you're born into a family don't make you family. And that's just a fact. Sometimes the people that treat you the best are the people that's not related to you. And I've been looking for my soul tribe. I'm requesting my soul tribe. And don't get me wrong, I have some very good people in my family. My family loves me. So don't get it messed up. But as I analyze relationships, I'm looking at, like, okay, say the relationship with my mother. I love my mother. But from where I'm sitting, it's almost like I was put in a situation to be an adult early in life. And it wasn't her fault. So it was and it wasn't, because she had a choice. The same way I had a choice when I had kids, the same way everybody has a choice when they have kids. But as we know, nobody has the handbook of earth. So we don't know what's the result, the end result of what we do to our kids. We never know that. But my mother has always been closer to my brothers than she has been closer to me. I've kind of always been like I love my dad, and they'll tell you that I'm closer to my dad, which I am closer to my dad, but I'm really closer to nobody. I'm really just out here, like in the world. That's just the way I've always felt. And so, which is even funny because as an adult, when my mom did something for me, it made me cry because I never expected it. And so, and that, like I said, it's nothing against her at all, period, because she only knew what her mother taught her, and everybody only knows what they're taught or what they want to learn or whatever. So, again, no shots, no jabs. I'm not mad at anybody. And honestly, if anybody gets mad at this and they feel like I was taking shots, I really wasn't. And it's a you problem and not me. And that's also where I'm at too, because at the end of the day, I can talk about my experiences and it not be a jab at anybody. I'm just not there. And quite frankly, I'm not there to the point where I'm just not there. Because I got to figure out going forward what I want my life to look like, the people that I want to be involved with, the people that I choose to entertain, and the ones that come in to love me. I have to focus and pay attention to that, because anybody that is supposed to love me will understand. And that's the other thing that I've learned. So, friends and family. Today I had to have a conversation with a person because they called me, and out of the blue they said, and this is not even a person I'm really even close to, so this was the audacity of this person. But by the time it was over and done with, I'm sure they, felt like I shouldn't fuck with that bitch. Either way, so the person calls and they say, they're just talking, giving me small talk or whatever. And then they're like, well, you just cut me off. And instantly it made me feel like, because what I said to them was, the phone rings both ways. So if you feel like I didn't call you, you could have called me. You could have sent me a text message, anything. And then it made me think, hold on. The last time I talked to you, it was because I called you twice, actually. It was during my first season. And I asked this person because, we talked. I knew stuff that they were going through. And so I'm like, well, you would be great because your situation is unique. And maybe, somebody else might be going through it. Would you like to have the conversation with me? The person could have said no. And everybody has the right to say no. I would not be upset. I would not be like in any type of, I would not feel any type of way. It's a no. The person might just not feel comfortable in explaining or talking about their situation online. That's cool. But to say that you have my back and you're my friend and you want to see me win and you say yes, I'm going to do it this time or I'm going to do it this time. I'm not going to call back and ask you. I promise you I'm not. So what I said to that person was, the last time you and I spoke, I called you. We were talking. You called me anytime you needed help with something. And this is the thing that I actually am starting to learn too. People will call me and they'll ask me, they have all these problems under the sun. And I will stop to communicate and give them all the spiritual advice and give them all the knowledge and know-how that I have. But it's not being reciprocated. It's not being reciprocated at all. And so but I would continue. So that's the thing. I would continue on, still communicating with the people and not worrying about it. Not in this season. Not in this season. In this season, once I noticed that about you, we gonna give the same energy that you given. And it's not about me matching or anything else. It's about, I'm not gonna stop and taking my time to deal with your shit if you can't be a true friend back to me. I'm going to be friends, or I'm going to be the same type of friend, or I just won't be your friend. That's the thing, because that's what I told that person. I said, because it dawned on me after they said that, and it kind of pissed me the fuck off. Because, hold on. You expect me to call you, or I'm supposed to be at your beckoning whenever you have a situation, you needed help, you needed somebody to talk to, you didn't feel comfortable in explaining it or talking to anybody else. I stopped what I was doing, took my time to listen and give you the best advice that I could give you. But the minute I needed help doing something, launching something, getting something off the ground, you were nowhere to be found. That's cool. I'm making note. And again, it's not being petty. It's just basically at this point in time, like, I'm not sticking around that long anymore, because I already know you're not my friend. I already know you're not what I need. You're not part of my soul tribe. You're not part of who I'm supposed to engage with and entertain with, because you're selfish. And you could be selfish, because I'm saying right now, I'm being selfish. I'm worried about me. So part of me worrying about me is making sure that the people that come around me are actually supposed to be around me, and we are reciprocating the energy the same exact way back and forth. That's the energy that I'm putting out that I want back. So the person, they kind of like went very quiet on me. And so I said right behind that, I think that from this point, there's some videos, because I pointed them back to the show. There's some videos there that you might want to listen to, and then you call me back when you decide what type of friend you want to be to me. And I proceeded to tell them, because either way, I don't care. And that's really the way I feel. I'm a good person. I know I'm a good person. Nobody's going to convince me otherwise. Even right now, what I'm doing when it comes to, all these conversations, and it comes to, it's not just because I want to tell y'all my business, because honestly, I don't. During season 1, I found healing. People were telling me that's very therapeutic. And I'm not nobody's therapist. It's just that people are always out of the blue walking up to me, talking to me, and we just start to have good conversations. And then that's one of the things that people were telling me, like, they love just having someone to talk to. And I'm guessing that that's something that they haven't been getting, in their relationships or from the people that they're with. So when it started to happen naturally, it was almost like, okay, we can help somebody else with this, because we're having this issue, we're talking about it. We can, kind of help other people by making it public, I guess. And some things we don't always talk about on camera, because some of these people I talk to, and it's a private thing. They have things that they want to talk about in private, and then we have things that we could talk about online. So everything is not actually being aired also. But this is something that I feel like, one of the things that they said, do what you love, it doesn't feel like work. I've been doing this for a long time. So it just comes natural to me. I do this all the time. It's just something that I do. I've been doing it my whole entire life. It was just never recorded. So now, once I went through, like, okay, so what should it be called? What should season 2 be called? Because we're upgrading, we're changing, we're evolving, we're transitioning. I'm finding myself. And this journey is a long one, depending upon how long you're here. It can be short for some. It can be long and treacherous for others, determined upon what we want to put ourselves through. Or it can be easy like Sunday morning. Because when something happened to me, the other thing that happened to me, even during the process of me being separated, there was something else that happened to me out of nowhere. And I was trying to figure out, like, how did that happen? And it was just like people are so bothered by the fact that I know how to mind my business. People are so bothered by the fact that I live in a little bubble, and I'm okay with that. I'm very much okay with not being around people. I'm very much okay with not being around messy people because I don't like that. Um, and my life tends to flow because I move away real quick. I don't want to entertain that. I don't want to be involved in that. I just don't want to do that. And so when I hear people say, um, they did this to Jesus, why not you? They did this to this person, why not you? We not the same. I'm not going to act like I wanted to take on their walk. And they might not wanted to take on my walk. But from where I've been standing, God hasn't been putting me through certain things. And even my questioning on this, when everything happened and I was going through different situations, I'm questioning like, God, what did I do? Like, did I do something wrong? And the answer I got back was, no, you did everything right. I had to show you. I had to show you because otherwise you are not paying attention. You just live life like you know I got you. And I got you. I do have you. I will always have you back. And even in this other stuff, I had to show you. But there's people that are not the same as you. There's people who are so upset by the fact that you understand who I am. I understand who God is. That's why my life goes the way it goes. I don't do the things that other people do. And yes, there's some stuff that I might do that other people might say, well, that ain't godly. That's not this. It's not none of your business. Because I know and understand that God's people are everywhere and in everything. God is in everything. And he's not going to explain to you why he told me to do something the same way he's not going to explain to me why he told you to do something. So one of the things that he has been dealing with me on is when I reverted to Islam, when I became Muslim. And I'm saying, God, I'm not a religious person, but I love that religion, and I haven't learned everything that I'm supposed to learn yet because there's still a lot of stuff that I know I'm supposed to be taught by my husband, the person that I'm going to end up with. So I'm still learning that process, and I just love certain things about that religion. But I'm saying, God, I'm a spiritual person. And so when I'm looking at stuff and I say, I don't like that about this because, I see them doing this. And the first thing he said was, worry about yourself and mind your business. I didn't send you over there for that. So again, my walk isn't your walk isn't my walk. So we're not going to know every phase or every turn that somebody's life is supposed to take. And just because we're looking at it and we don't think that it is the way that God would want, we don't know what God wants for each individual person. So you have to have your journey, your walk, your special relationship with God. So I'm not going to look at somebody else's life and say they aren't. It's not my judgment. It's God's. So I just went down a list of everything that I thought to name season 2. And so the end result was I wasn't sure what I wanted to name it because there's so much transition, there's so much change, and I'm still changing every day because it's like I learn something new every day. I figure out something else because, again, I'm not the person that I was before. My avatar is learning, living, loving life, doing things that me, myself, I normally would never think that I would do. But, hey, we're learning to work together, and that's just what it is. So I'm just going to leave it up to will surprise you. But I'm looking forward to season 2. I'm looking forward to new engagements, new conversations, new thought processes behind love, life, and relationships, because somebody else will and can give you a different perspective from the one you thought from the beginning. So initially, it was like, one thing begat the other. This happened, so then that happened. Season 1 happened, so now season 2 can happen. We'll figure it out as we continue to travel along this thing we call life. I don't have the handbook of Earth, so I don't know what's going to happen next. I guess we'll figure it out together. See you on season 2.
I say, Lil' Ben, you hear them talking, he say, I hit the gas and then we turn up on they ass.